Hello, everybody, and welcome to another live Argentina discussion. My name is Roy Nemer of Mundo Albiceleste.com. I'm joined by Osvaldo Godoy, also of Mundo Albiceleste.com. We are live. We are going to be discussing Argentina at the Olympics, the 2-0 win versus Ukraine, the quarterfinal match versus France, and everything that comes with it. As always, let us know in the chat where you're watching from. We tend to get from all around the world. Let us know down below where you're watching and what do you think of everything going on. And first things first, Osvaldo, how are you? How is everything?
I'm doing well. A pleasure to join you in this preview of tomorrow's game. I'm actually anxious. It's gonna be a really interesting game, especially because we're playing the host. Because we know everything that happened with France in the recent years, in terms of football. So I'm really anxious about the game.
I'm so looking forward to it. I love it when Argentina is kind of playing away from home and the crowd is against them. I feel like it fuels the team even more. So I'm very much looking forward to this. Let's get to the chat. Paulo Miguel watching from Nigeria. It's 3:35 a.m. over there. Thank you for joining us, Paulo Miguel. That's a crazy time. We have Cleon Spence from Jamaica. Good evening, all the way from Jamaica. We have Janet from, I want to say Toronto, if I'm not mistaken. So welcome. Thank you for joining us on a Thursday night as well. We have John, who I know very well from Malaysia. I know it's early morning for him as well, or maybe just around noon his time. Paulo Miguel saying Argentina will win the gold medal in Paris. Fingers crossed, my friend. MMH, welcome. Thank you for joining us as well. We have Tarun, all the way from India. Good morning, all the way from India. As always, let us know down below. And if you're new, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We've gotten a lot of new subscribers recently, so I just want to say a big thank you to everybody and the old subscribers as well. A big thank you for being along on the ride. Let's take a look. Yusuf, love from Bangladesh, excuse me, and pray for Bangladesh students. I heard of what's going on. I think started last week. So prayers to you guys. Hopefully it gets a lot better. It's crazy what's going on over there. It truly is, and very scary. But all the best to you guys. Hopefully it gets better. Jaco Taco, greetings from Irvine, California as well. And that's just about Thursday evening around 7:30 p.m. In California. So thank you everybody for joining us. What a game. We had Argentina versus Ukraine, a 2-0 win. We had Thiago Almada and Claudio Echeverri scoring. I think somebody in the live discussion last time had that and predicted it correctly.
I remember. Yeah, I think someone put that Echeverri was gonna score. We were like, Echeverri's not gonna start, but yeah, maybe he will have some minutes. He did have minutes against Iraq, so it was a good guess.
It was a very good guess. We both had Thiago Almada scoring, I believe. So we got at least 50% of that. But I had Julian Alvarez
Well,
scoring the other.
but listen, you had the Argentina 3-1 against Iraq,
Yeah.
Argentina 2-0 against Ukraine. Tell us who's gonna win tomorrow, please.
We'll talk about that tomorrow. Tomorrow, a little bit later on, when we get to the predictions and everybody's predictions as well. And looking at the goals, Thiago Almada, Claudio Echeverri. What a goal from Thiago Almada from distance to open up the scoring.
Yes, because it just the second half just started, and Argentina played better than Ukraine in the first half, but especially those first 10 minutes. Then Argentina started losing the ball. We're not playing that well. Ukraine had some occasions, and starting in that way in the second half, it was an individual play completely. And what a strike! What a goal!
What a strike. It reminded me a little bit, I believe it was Luca Romero in the Under-20 World Cup last year. He had a strike like that. I can't remember versus who, uh,
Yes,
but
yeah,
he
but
had
he
a
he
similar
started
goal.
like from the midfield.
From midfield, yeah. Yeah, from midfield. No, both very good goals. I just want to bring this comment up. Jambi, thank you so much. Looked at my phone and the notification made me smile. Un abrazo, chicos. Big hug to you as well, Jambi. Thank you for joining everybody as well. Pablo Miguel, what a golazo. Truly was a goal. JCDT saying Argentina versus the crowd and France. And I feel like it's Argentina versus everybody right now when we get to the quarterfinals.
Yes, and I don't know if you feel this way, Roy. And we're gonna continue talking a little bit against the match with Ukraine, but I think that Argentina in this after we won the first Copa America and the World Cup, we kind of have to revalidate all the time that we, even with this under 23 team, that we are the best. And people, not only French, but also around the globe, those that are not Argentinian fans are waiting for Argentina to lose, because that's
Yeah.
something normal to happen when a team wins and wins and wins, and they want them to lose. I remember against Colombia, compared to the first Copa America and to the World Cup, it wasn't such a big final as those two, but I felt in particular that if we didn't win that one, then a lot of hate will come from all the other countries. And even I feel the same way tomorrow. I think
It's the
uh,
same.
it's another chance for all those that are not Argentinian fans to be there and start hating in case we don't win.
Oh, they're all waiting for Argentina to lose, and let us know in the chat if you guys feel the same thing as well. But it's exactly what you said. It's like Argentina fans that are against Argentina or don't want Argentina to win. It's like they're just waiting for the team to slip. They're waiting for the smallest thing. Versus Morocco, we saw how fans reacted online. You know, everybody that was against Argentina, all the comments, we saw all of that. And it's. I'll bring Janet's comment up. That attitude will just make our boys try harder, and it's exactly that. And it's Argentina versus the world almost at the Olympics. People just they want Argentina to lose. It's insane.
No, yes, I agree. It's gonna be very important how they're able to handle the pressure, and I still think that we have a good margin to improve based on our level of our players, or the quality of our players, and how much better we can play collectively in this
Oh,
Olympic.
absolutely. The players I don't think have reached their peak yet. I don't think so either. I think they've maybe gotten better as the matches have gone along.
I agree.
Uh, but yeah, they're not at their full potential. I don't believe so at all. Let's look at some of the comments. Tadon saying this is a new international rivalry, France versus Argentina. I like it. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. Hopefully Argentina gets the win tomorrow to just make it that much sweeter. Persian old school geek saying, yeah, most hated team at the moment. Definitely are. John, well, for a long time we have not been winning, and people are so used to seeing us that way. Now that we are winning and winning a lot, it makes people a bit uncomfortable. I would say it makes people very uncomfortable, not a bit. And let's not forget, then you also have those that don't like Messi, that are maybe in the Ronaldo camp or Madrid fans or
Yeah.
whatever it might be.
And I also want to say that I don't think this is particularly against Argentina, although us Argentinians, we like to feel how everyone hates us and stuff. For me, happens. I know that you're also a Barcelona fan, Roy.
Yeah.
I'm not a Barcelona fan. I mean, I was when Messi was there, but then I really don't care. I just care about Boca and Argentina. But now that Real Madrid have been winning everything this last couple of years, I just want them to lose. I hate them, because that's normal. When a team wins and wins and wins, you want them to lose.
That's true. Yeah, that's actually very true. I look. I'm on your side. I want Real Madrid to lose constantly for different reasons. But no, it is true. You want that best team to lose or to drop points or to not win, and Argentina's in that position right now where people don't want them to win.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Plus a certain maybe disrespect that we've seen in these Olympics against the Argentinian athletes in general. We saw it in the rugby,
Yeah.
from the French crowd to the Argentinians, which I was listening to a journalist today, and I also agree. One thing is that kind of disrespect when in terms of football, that you can understand it, but when it goes to another disciplines, and even Argentina got their first gold medal yesterday. It was with
Yeah.
BMX, with the motorcycle, and a journalist was saying today, an Argentinian journalist that is working there, how when they do at some point they do a parade, right?
Yeah.
And he was one of the ones doing the parade because he won the gold medal, and the fans, I think it was the fans, were kind of whistling at him, and I don't think the
No, that's not
that's
the
good
Olympic
in an Olympics.
spirit.
That's an Olympics. It's not an
No.
Olympics thing, to
No.
happen. You can kind of accept it a little bit in a
In
soccer
football.
or football atmosphere. Yeah.
Yeah. No, no, that's not part of the Olympic spirit, and people are taking it, I think, a little bit too far. If just as an example, I think everybody could agree. If let's say Brazil won an Olympic gold medal, I don't think fans would be whistling at Brazil, right? Even though there's that Argentina-Brazil rivalry in football, off the pitch, it's completely different. And these are amateur athletes as well, or even some might be professional. This has nothing to do with football, and people are just making it out to be much bigger than it is.
Yeah, in the rugby match, they were even whistling during the national anthem, which is a moment of a lot of respect. I wouldn't be much surprised if tomorrow they also whistle our national anthem.
They will. I honestly, I hope not, but I think they will, and this is a perfect example here. Jaco Taco's talking about it too, and obviously there was the Enzo Fernandez controversy. There's always been a hate towards us. Italia 90 was another example. The Argentina national anthem was booed in pretty much every match except the one in Naples versus Italy, but the rest it was all it was all whistled. So we'll see what's going to happen tomorrow versus.
You also see little things. Maybe some were mistakes, maybe some not. You never know, right? But there was one of the swimmers in the Argentina team who they always present one by one, and the Argentina, instead of having the Argentinian flag, it was the Chinese flag, and there was not a single Chinese in that competition. So it's kind of weird. Then there was a tennis player, Francisco Cerúndolo, who came from playing 7 days in a row because he came from another tournament. He won the first round, and they made him play the second round against a French player the next morning, so he didn't have much rest. Fortunately, he was able to beat him. But yeah, you see these little things that you don't know if to see. Okay, it's an Olympics day, it's the organization, whatever, but maybe at the same time, they might thinking they're playing against a French, so let's try to give them some disadvantage.
Is it a coincidence that it's like this, or is it not? Right, it's a bit of that. It's a bit of that. Back to the football and the games. Let's take a look at some of the comments here. Pablo Miguel saying the players should focus on the game and ignore the French fans. TGC 777 Ukraine defeated France 3-1 in the Euro tournament, which is the European version of the under-23 in South America. Reality is that Argentina came out of the toughest group at the Olympics. France qualified because they're the host. I did not know that, TGC. Thank you for bringing that. I really, really did not know that. And this is pure nonsense and needs to end. France and the likes of Morocco don't realize the next World Cup will be hosted in the Americas. Booing anthem is pathetic and disrespectful. I did not know this. They raised their own flag upside down in the opening ceremony. There's been a lot of talking points at the Olympics, but we spoke about Thiago Almada's goal. Let's talk a little bit about Claudio Echeverri, and then we'll talk about the actual match versus France that's coming up. Not the most prettiest of goals, let's say, for Echeverri. It was a rebound, but I think this is an important goal for him versus Ukraine.
It really is. And I think we also have to give credit to Mascherano in the substitutions in these last 2 games, because that kick first came from Zenon, who made a good play, kicked, and the goalkeeper saved it, and Echeverri was able to push it to the back of the net. So I think we have to give some credit to Mascherano's substitutions, because against Iraq, it was also Zenon who entered and put the crossing to Gondou, who also came from the bench.
Yeah, and honestly, I would probably even say versus Morocco in the first match, the substitutes really helped Argentina. I think they played better after that. So he's gotten it right, to his credit. I know a lot of us or a lot of people have, maybe criticized Mascherano in the past or even recently, but he's gotten the substitutions right. And we're going to see what the starting 11 is going to be tomorrow, but we do have some rumors, at least when it comes in the right back position, Garcia or Luján. That's going to be an interesting one versus France.
Yes, Luján started against Morocco, and then I think Luján started the first 2 games, and Garcia started against Ukraine. So yeah, we'll see what Mascherano decides to start.
Yeah, that's it's one of the changes that maybe I'm not going to say surprises me, but I wasn't expecting I wasn't expecting a change at right back. I think it's been decent. That hasn't been the lacking point, let's say, for Argentina. But if we're looking at some of the comments here, Trigger Happy SRT, I'm not too confident in the defense versus the French forwards. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see how Ruli does. Of course, there's still the goalkeeper. It's not just the back line. There's still him as well. Trigger is happy once more, saying Lujan only started versus Ukraine and Garcia started the first two matches. So
I
versus
mixed them up.
Morocco,
It was the other way around.
it was the
Yeah.
other way around. There you go. There you go. Janet saying Mascherano growing into the role. Parro Miguel agreeing with that. Um, so that's the first one. Now there's also the other one, and this I'm very very interested in because apparently it's one spot for Gondu, Beltran, and Getse. I don't know what to think of this because Getse is more of a midfielder, Gondu Beltran more forward. So I don't know how maybe Mascherano's thinking about playing this.
Yes, I think that if he chooses Hesse, he will try to be a little bit more defensive, especially try to put more players in that midfield and be able to defend better, to take less risks. But I think that Gondu and Beltran are two incredible players who can give a lot in attack. So
Yeah.
Mascherano will have a tough decision there.
It looks like it could either be maybe a more of a 4-4-2 if Hetze's in there, but if it's Beltran or Gondu, then maybe more of a 4-3-3 with Julian, either Gondu or Beltran, and then maybe someone else on the wing. I don't know, but I see it maybe more pragmatic, maybe a little bit if Hetze starts in there.
Yeah, it appears that Simeone would start though. I will repeat again from the last match. I think he had a really good game. He was kind of the surprise, I would say, in the Argentina team in these Olympics because he was not a like if you saw all the strikers, Beltran, Gondu, Simeone, but I think that Mascherano found him a place playing more as a right midfielder, which is not his natural position, but he's been doing it great. And I think that he does the same with Thiago Almada. Thiago Almada, when the team defense, I think we play like with a 4-4-2 with Thiago Almada in the left midfielder and Simone in the right midfielder, which are not their natural positions and not always they do the best, especially defending. But now, then when we have the ball, Thiago Almada goes to play to his natural position more in the middle of the field, and Simeone most of the times try to go closer to the goal. So it's interesting to see how that's gonna be played in the next match.
Yeah, I'm very interested in seeing this. I completely agree with you in terms of Simeone. I think he's been the surprise at the Olympics for Argentina. We spoke. I mean, you mentioned Gondu. I had mentioned Simeone, and after the match versus Morocco, in terms of maybe which player we wanted to see more of. We mentioned those two players. They've both been standout players when it comes for the national team at the Olympics. Let's look at some of the comments here. Ed saying, "I like Gondu." As do I. Naim Farhad saying Alvarez's mind is on the transfer. Well, maybe. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Triggered happy. RSC saying it's tough to choose, but I think an extra midfielder is better than a second striker versus France. I like Gondu as a substitute. I think he's been great as a substitute. If it were up to me, maybe I would go with that extra midfielder to maybe help defend a little bit, even though, as you mentioned, Osvaldo, at times Almada is maybe not the best defender, so to speak, in midfield, but at least having that extra body, I think, definitely helps.
I agree. I particularly don't love when players play in their non-natural positions and they make them defend, like you were saying, Thiago Almada. I think that if we include another midfielder, we can let more freedom to Almada, and that would be really good.
Yeah, I think so too. I absolutely think so, and I hope that's kind of what we get. TGC saying play Getse and drop Gondu. Beltran is similar to Alvarez. No need to start him. And we'll have to see how Beltran's doing fitness-wise. I think he's pretty much recovered. I would like to hope so. Pablo Miguel also saying Getse should start. Sebastian saying Gondu and Alvarez up front. Tarun saying Getse should start. Dan Lucas, don't cry for me, France. So it looks like a lot of people want, or most people want, Getse to start. Sebastian saying he would like Gondu. We'll see for this one. I was happy versus Ukraine in the last match. Mascherano went a little bit more offensive. He used the attack maybe a little bit more, not as pragmatic, wasn't defending maybe as much in the setup. Versus France, I would like to see more of a defensive-minded setup, I think. I'd like to see more defensive.
Yeah, I agree. I think that most of us agree that Hesse should start. If he starts, I don't know how you guys would put that midfield, but I would say Eki Fernandez and Jesse
Yeah,
as the defensive midfielders. Medina can play as a left midfielder instead of making Almada do that. In Boca, Medina can play as a right. He usually plays as a right midfielder, so he can do the same in the left wing. And
yeah.
then you have Juliano Simeone, who did a decent job last time, and you leave Almada and
Almada
Julian Alvarez on
up
top.
front.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
And they've showed, Almada and Alvarez have shown in the tournament that they do have that connection, that chemistry. So that does work. That definitely does work. Um, Janet asking, where is Seba? Seba is actually in France. He's covering the Olympics, and he's doing well. He says hello to everybody. We spoke, I believe, just a couple of days ago. He was sending me pictures. He's at the Olympics. He's covering. He is there. He is there. And welcome, George. Vamos los pibes. Thank you. Welcome,
do you know
George.
if he goes tomorrow to the game? No idea.
I believe no. I don't think he's going to the game tomorrow. But I believe if Argentina make the semifinals, he would be at the stadium for the semifinals for that match because of the
Great.
way the city that he's in that's covering.
Uh,
So I don't believe he's there for the quarters, but I believe he would be there for the semifinals if Argentina do make it.
yeah, yeah, we'll see. Well,
And
hopefully we make it to the semifinals, and we should ask him to send a video or something for the Mundo's followers.
Absolutely, I'll ask him. I'll ask him right after this. I'll send him a little message. Niloy or Niloy, I'm sorry about the pronunciation. Saying if Argentina manages to win against France, then gold is sealed for them. I haven't checked, to be honest. I haven't checked too much the table in terms of how it would look, but I'm just looking at it now. I mean, Morocco, United States, Japan, Spain, Egypt, Paraguay, and France, Argentina. So I want to say if Argentina
Egypt
make
against Paraguay.
it would be Egypt, Paraguay. So
It is.
they would avoid the Spain and Morocco and USA. I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting, but so far I would say this is at least on paper France's biggest. Sorry, Argentina's biggest challenge so far. I think at least on paper.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah, and Egypt, for example, beat Spain in the group stage. That's why they qualify as first. So you can't take any team for granted. We know that the biggest rival we have now is France, and you have to concentrate on that.
Yes, of course. No, we cannot absolutely look past France at all by any means. By any means. Let's take a look at some of the comments here. Naim saying, I don't know why I think Argentina will play like pre-Scaloneta, good players, but not a good team. I think they've grown throughout the tournament. I think they've gotten better. I think they've gotten better. George is saying, tomorrow will not be a regular game. Expect fouls, bad calls, incidents, controversy. I do expect that. I don't know about you, Osvaldo, and everybody else, but I do expect something to happen during the game.
Yeah, it should. I mean, there's VAR. I don't think there should be any big mistakes, but I agree with you. Those maybe little mistakes, if there's a consecutive little mistakes that can like put the game in favor of France.
Yeah, yeah, that could happen. That could definitely happen. Let's take a look. What else? That one is saying I expect some controversy in the game. Paul is asking who is the ref. I don't know if we've gotten that information just yet. I don't believe. I don't believe so. But we spoke a lot about the players, and rightfully so, of course. A little bit about the coach. Now, Mascherano's been under a lot of fire for well over a year now, whether it's with the under-20 team or the under-23 team. Depending on what happens tomorrow, in your opinion, Osvaldo, and everybody in the chat as well, please do let us know. And Jaco Taco is actually asking the question I'm kind of about to ask. But depending on the result tomorrow, do you think this could be, or maybe even should be, Mascherano's last match as coach of the Olympic team?
What I know for sure is that, as the graph is saying, it's all or nothing for Mascherano. I think we talked a little bit about this in previous in previous lives that we've done. I think that at some point all the criticism to Mascherano especially before he got the national team as a coach, was, from my opinion, unbelievable and not so much justified. Then I understand that with the under 23 national team, he didn't make Argentina play uh, really good. I think Argentina has so many good players that we can make them play way better. Um, and in Argentina in general, there's been a lot of hate towards him in the last couple of years, especially after that 2018. So I think again, tomorrow is all or nothing for him. It's everyone loves him or everyone hates him, and
It's
it's horrible that it works like that, because I think sometimes we tend to forget how much Mascherano did for the national team as a player. He was incredible. I remember at one point it was Mascherano plus 10, and I'm
yeah,
not exaggerating. Uh,
yeah.
so for me, it's kind of um, not so nice how people tend to forget and try to always think about the present or the future. Uh, but it's the rules. If Argentina don't beat France tomorrow, then I think it's over for Mascherano.
Yeah, I think so too. I completely echo your sentiments, and I'll get to the chat as well and see what everybody thinks in just a moment. I think it's that. Unfortunately, I believe it's black or white. If Argentina don't win versus France, I think he becomes public enemy number one in the media, or at least among some fans. If Argentina win versus France, he could maybe become a hero, and everybody will change their opinion of him and will want him to continue. It does appear to be that black and white almost with Mascherano, and I completely agree. Maradona at one point said the Argentina national team is Mascherano plus 10. If you look at how much he gave, he was very good at the 2006 World Cup, 2007 Copa America. Obviously, everybody remembers most 2014 and later on 2018, but 2014, that World Cup, he played his heart out. That tackle, that block versus Robin in the semifinals in extra time, that was massive. That was massive. And people tend to, as you mentioned, they just kind of tend to forget of how well he's done with the national team. So we'll see what gives with him. We'll see what gives with him. Let's look at the chat here. There you go. Trigger Happy saying, I think there will be controversy at the stadium. There's supposed to be a decent amount of Argentinians. Jaco Taco asking, pretty much the same question. Trigger Happy, thank you for this. For the referee is from Uzbekistan. Tarun talking about Mascherano. If he does not win against France, I think he will be on the hot seat. John talking about that, saying the thing about Mascherano is that he seems to be a very one-dimensional coach. I don't think he has that many options to offer at times. Just my 2 cents worth. Trigger Happy saying he'd like to see maybe Diego Placente manage the under-23 team. Not been a fan of Mascherano as a youth coach for years. TGC bring up a good point. 2004, Argentina 1-0. I believe it was Carlos Tevez at the Olympics in the final versus Paraguay. Mascherano was there. He's won 2 gold medals, so don't underestimate his knowledge in terms of winning the tournament.
The only Argentinian footballer that won 2 Olympics.
2 Olympic gold medals. Yeah, and I think at one point he became the first Argentinian athlete to win 2 gold medals. I think he became the first as well. I remember Seba telling me that. I could be wrong, but I remember something like that being said. What else do we have here? John saying, don't get me wrong, guys. I love him to death as a player. Can't say the same as a coach. And TGC comparing the 2 roads or the 3 different roads. 2008, Holland in the quarterfinals, Brazil in the semis, Nigeria in the final. This path is relatively easier compared to 2008. Also, that 2008 team, you could have taken that 2008 Argentina Olympic team and put it up against regular senior national teams, and they probably could have won. Messi, Riquelme, Agüero, Di Maria, Mascherano, Zabaleta, Garay, Chiquito Romero, Yadlavetsi as well on the bench, Gago. I mean, that was a great team. I think Banega was there as well. So very, very good. That was a strong Argentina team. All right. Now, let's get to a question that we've been asking at the end of all these videos. Predictions.
Yeah.
What do you think, Osvaldo?
I think Argentina is going to win 2-1. I honestly don't care much about my predictions. I want to hear yours. I could go on and say uh, what I think is gonna be the result. But for you that don't know, guys, Roy already got the last two games. He said Iraq
Yeah.
was gonna win 3-1, Argentina was gonna beat Iraq 3-1, and we were gonna beat Ukraine 2-0. So please tell us tomorrow's score.
I I told you right before we went on air. I said I think Argentina wins tomorrow. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say 2-1 Argentina. I agree with you. I think it's either gonna be 2-1 for Argentina or 2-0 for Argentina. I think a lot of people are underestimating this Argentina team. I think people are hating on them just to hate. Obviously, France are the hosts. Absolutely. Have they been playing the best football at the tournament? From what I've seen, at least from some of the highlights, not necessarily. Obviously, they're playing at home. The crowd, the majority are going to be against Argentina, but I think Argentina are going to pull it off, and I'm going to go on record and saying Julian Alvarez scores his first goal at the Olympics versus France. So that's my prediction.
I was gonna go with the two players over 23 with Julian and Otamendi to score
And
for Argentina.
Otamendi, oh, I would love that. I would so love that. I could just imagine Otamendi's celebration too.
Yeah. Let me ask you something. Maybe you know, maybe the chat knows. If in case there's a tie, do we know if there's extra time or not?
That's a good question. I'm gonna try and figure that out. I don't know if somebody here knows the answer. I think there is, based off previous tournaments. I would think there is, but I'm gonna check now to see if there is or not. There is. Okay, so according to Wikipedia, which I know it's Wikipedia, not the
Yeah.
most reliable, but it says if a match is level at the end of normal playing time, extra time is played, and if necessary, a penalty shootout. So I
Okay.
believe so then. If we want to believe Wikipedia, yes, and there
Yeah.
is.
And
Uh,
that's something interesting to know because we know that in France it's been and around the whole Europe, right? It's been really hot in this couple of days. So I imagine a 90-minute game, which nowadays in the Olympics is not a 90-minute game. It's more like a 110-minute game because they are adding
yeah,
like 10 minutes per half. Um, Plus an extra time. It could be a lot for the players.
yeah,
I think there though, Argentina has really good subs, and Mascherano demonstrated putting some of them in and making them score.
yeah.
So we have Zenon, we have Echeverri. So
Those are
maybe that's
those
an
are two.
advantage for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are two players that can change the game for Argentina in a good way. That can easily influence. I mean, you're thinking Echeverri maybe coming on as a substitute against the tired French team. Those that's good. That is very good. Let's look at the chat, see what everybody thinks in terms of predictions. Pablo Miguel saying Argentina 3-1. Tarun saying 1-0 for Argentina. It will be a very difficult game. Janet saying a tight game, 2-1 by the skin of our teeth. Sebastian saying Argentina wins by penalty shootout. Jaco Taco, Argentina needs to weather the storm. Yes, I think that's going to be a big thing. The first maybe 15 minutes or so, I think Argentina definitely has to hold their own and not allow a goal. And saying if they can, they will win this. Janet saying we certainly will not be gifted this game. Not in France, definitely not. Niloy, I'm sorry about that. Agreeing with Chowdhury. And John's asking if we can fly Dibu in just in case it goes to the penalty shootout. And Niloy saying Argentina with Julian or Thiago Almada scoring. Tarun, I'm hoping it should be a fair game and no advantage to France. What else we have? TGC. All the pressure will be on France and Thierry Henry. Argentina is 2 times winners, while France is yet to win an Olympic gold. Argentina just need to survive the first 15, 20 minutes. I do agree with that. Yes, I do agree. Dragon, maybe a little bit less optimistic, a little bit more pessimistic. No chance for Argentina. France will be playing for blood. I think they will be playing for blood, but emotions are going to come into play in the match, I think. And Argentina do have to manage those emotions very, very well. They're going to have to. On that note, going through, I don't believe we missed anything in that sense. Any final thoughts, Osvaldo, before we close things up here?
Just I'm still anxious about tomorrow's game. I think it's gonna be a battle. I imagine more of the bad goals and stuff. I imagine the players maybe fighting after every single ball, fighting for every goal is gonna be a lot of pressure. But it's for sure gonna be interesting to watch, especially for those that are neutrals. Maybe for us and for French people, they're gonna be suffering throughout the game. I think that it's fair to say, though, of course, we wanna win this a lot. Uh, this is not a revenge from what it was the World Cup final. These are two different things. Still a very important game, and hopefully it goes our way.
No, of course, of course. We're talking about, we spoke a little bit about quote unquote, the rivalry versus France and this and that. This is the Olympics. It definitely matters. It's not a World Cup. In football, the World Cup is above everything. Even though I love the Olympics and I'm a massive, massive Olympics fan, the World Cup is above everything, and it's no such thing as revenge, right? The 26 players that were there for France at the World Cup are not there today at the Olympics. Four of Argentina's players that were there at the World Cup are there now. So it's a different team, a different coach or different coaches, different everything, to be honest. So I am nervous as well. I'm confident. I'm realistic, but I'm confident. And we'll see what gives. I am nervous, so I will say that. I am.
Yeah. And let me ask you and the chat one more question. That is because I know you told me before the live that you're gonna watch the game during your
Yeah,
during work while you're doing your
yeah,
job. I canceled some of my tennis lessons that I had to teach for the afternoon. I canceled them. I wanna watch the game. So I also wanna ask the people first of all what time is gonna be there, and if what are they gonna do in order to be able to watch the game.
yeah. Let us know in the chat. Actually, I like that. I like that. And let us know in the chat. Are you going to be watching the game? If yes, where? Are you going to be watching it alone? Do you watch it with people? Are you the type that I can't watch the game, so I'm going to watch the highlights? Let us know. Let us know in the comments. The kickoff. There you go. Jaco Taco kickoff is at 12 p.m. I have taken work
Wow.
off. Jaco Taco taking work off for Argentina. I love that. I love the passion. I truly, truly do. I'm going to be watching it for sure. You mentioned Osvaldo, you canceled your tennis lessons. John saying games at 3 a.m. My time will be watching the game at home with plenty of coffee just to keep me awake. And John, I can't imagine the number of times, the number of games where you've had to wake up in the middle of the night to watch the match. Barro Miguel saying I'm watching the game alone. Janet's at 3 p.m. here in Toronto. 8:55 a.m. in Nepal for G1. Trigger Happy SRT working from home tomorrow. The game will be at 3 p.m. for me. The game will certainly be on. I love that. I love the spirit from everybody as well. Possibly the most important match, says Vladislav, before the final. So looks like everybody's going to be watching the match. Most people from home, I suppose. Paul, there you go. Paul McChutney is saying, I watch alone at home. 1 p.m. Naeem says 1 p.m. in Bangladesh. So we've had 3 a.m., 3 p.m., 12 p.m., 1 p.m., 9 a.m. It's crazy. It's crazy the support that Argentina has. It's very, very cool to see. Mundo Albiceleste is 18 years old now, and I'm still as astonished and surprised in a good way, of course, of the support that Argentina just gets worldwide. Truly. Jiwan saying I'll be watching tomorrow morning at 12:45 a.m. Tarun, the game's at 12:30 a.m. in India. I will be watching my Argentina team. Sebastian, 4 p.m. in Buenos Aires. There you go. So someone from Argentina as well. So different time zones all around the world. Truly beautiful. It's going to be 3 p.m. for me and 3 p.m. for you as well, Osvaldo, in the afternoon. So fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. We get the result that we want. That's all I could say. JCDT, thank you, my friend. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, everybody, as well. It really means a lot. It's always fun doing these, and we're going to be doing more of them. We're not going to stop. During the Olympics, after the Olympics, we have the European club season starting, and after that, we have the World Cup qualifiers in September, October, and November. So we have a lot of stuff. World Cup qualifiers, September, next month, literally next month. And last question, I suppose, for you, Osvaldo.
Yes, I think Alcaraz is gonna win
There you go.
because in clay he's just too good. It's gonna be between him and Djokovic.
There you go. There you go. We also have tennis experts here as well. All right, let's bring up these last ones. Fingers crossed. Goodbye. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the notifications button if you haven't already. My name is Roy Nemer of Mundo Albiceleste.com. This is Osvaldo Godoy, also of Mundo Albiceleste.com. Until next time, everybody, take care. Bye.